I lost an hour and gained a question.
In March this year, I flew from Norway to New York. While I was in the US, the clock switched to daylight saving time. 3 weeks later, I flew back, and the very next day, Norway switched to summertime too. Compared to someone who stayed in one place, I had lived 1 hour less. Time had moved around me, a clean, measurable anomaly in my personal timeline, and it made me think, what is time really, and how much of it do we actually experience? What if none of what we know is true? What if time isn't something flowing around us, but something we're hallucinating?
Ask a physicist and you'll get a very simple answer. Time is a dimension like space, except with one cruel difference. You can move freely through space, forward, backwards, up, down, any way you want.
But time is a prison. You're chained to move in only one direction, forward. You can't slow it down, can't pause it, can't rewind to fix your mistakes or skip ahead to see how things turn out. Unless you can. Your brain has never touched time. It has never seen or heard it. There are no time particles flowing into your neurons. And yet, you live as if time is real, as if it's flowing through you.
In chess, a knight can travel from this square to that one in 3 moves. It doesn't matter how much time it takes the player to make those moves. Within the world of chess, the journey itself lasts 3 moves. For the chess pieces, time is counted in moves.
So how does our brain track time, considering it cannot sense it? The answer is by cheating. It watches change, compares memory to expectation, glues together fragments of motion and declares, "This is now and that was before." So the truth is, time to your brain is just a guess. And sometimes it gets it wrong.
In boredom, time drags like a dying star. In terror, seconds stretch to eternity.
And in joy, time evaporates. For a 7-year-old, summer lasts forever. But around 30s, summer is a flicker, because for your brain, time isn't measured in hours, it's measured in novelty.
The more unfamiliar the experience, the more the brain records. And the more it records, the longer it feels. So as life becomes predictable, it compresses, routine adds the richness of time, and the clock in your mind begins to tick faster.
There is no such thing as a perfect internal clock, and your brain is not even trying to be accurate. It's shaped by emotion, attention, personality, and culture. To someone with anxiety, 5 minutes can feel like an hour. To someone in love, a day can pass unnoticed.
Researchers believe the reason is dopamine, a chemical not only linked to pleasure, but to time perception. Less dopamine, slower time. More dopamine, blink and it's gone.
And that means your experience of time is not universal. It's not stable, not shared with anyone. It's very personal.
Individuals who are always late, as I am, typically are late by the same amount of time. Give them a stopwatch and ask to count out 60 seconds without looking. I will stop at around 70 for every single time. Someone else may always stop around 80 or so.
This pattern is so consistent that it begins to feel deliberate, like they exist in a different timeline altogether. But what if they do?
People laugh it off, call it a lack of planning or broken alarm clock. But studies show that for some people, internal time runs differently. Not metaphorically, but cognitively, neurologically. Their sense of time is distorted, stretched or compressed, bent like space-time near a black hole. For example, some conditions like ADHD drastically impact time perception. A task in 1 hour feels either now or never. There is no middle ground, just black and white, urgent or irrelevant.
In some cultures, time is a resource, sliced into clean blocks, measured, monetized, and obeyed. In others, time is fluid. Being late is not rude, it's expected. And the illusion is so complete that you build your entire identity inside of it. Anyway, whether you're always late or on time, there is no other way than forward. Unless there is. So while we're busy convincing ourselves that time only moves forward, physics doesn't care about what we believe. It only cares what is possible. More than a century ago, Einstein showed us that time is not fixed. It bends, it stretches, it slows down. According to relativity, the faster you move, the slower time appears to pass. It's called time dilation, and this is not a theory anymore. It's been measured.
In 1971, physicists Joseph Heffel and Richard Keating tested Einstein's theory of time. They took 4 atomic clocks, some of the most precise timekeepers ever built, and put them on commercial airplanes. 2 of the clocks flew twice around the world, eastward and westward. Meanwhile, identical clocks stayed put on the ground. When they reunited, the clocks no longer matched. The flying ones had ticked at different rates depending on their speed and direction.
The clock on the plane disagreed with the ones on the ground by 40 billionths of a second, just as Einstein predicted.
It was a tiny difference, fraction of a second, but it was real. Motion slows time, and so does gravity. And this means one simple but strange truth. You can travel into the future simply by changing how fast you move. But going back in time?
Relativity doesn't explicitly forbid it. Some solutions to Einstein's equations like closed time-like curves, wormholes, and cosmic strings suggest it might be possible. The math allows time loops, but whether the real world does is still unknown. And if going back in time is possible, it would raise serious problems.
Like the famous grandfather paradox. You go back in time and prevent your parents' birth, eventually preventing yours. If you were never born, you would not be able to build the machine to go back. But if you didn't go back, you were born after all. Cause and effect collapse into a contradiction.
This isn't just philosophical. Kurt Gödel, one of the greatest mathematical minds of the 20th century, discovered the solution to Einstein's field equations that technically allows time travel through rotating universes. He believed time might not be what it seems, not a constant stream, but something warped and twisted by motion and gravity, in ways we still don't fully understand. But not everyone agreed. For example, Stephen Hawking was very skeptical about the matter.
He believed nature has safeguards, subtle mechanisms to protect the timeline. He even proposed a name for it, the chronology protection conjecture, a kind of cosmic immune system designed to keep cause and effect intact.
And in 2009, Hawking put that idea to the test. He threw a party, balloons, champagne, everything. But he didn't send the invitations until after it ended, because the party wasn't for us, it was for time travelers.
No one came to that party. It wasn't proof that time travel is impossible, but it was quite an evidence. Many physicists suspect a deeper law that the universe censors paradox. It lets us flirt with time travel in equations, but never in reality.
Still, Hawking couldn't quite let go of the question. When he passed in 2018, his online memorial page accepted registrants born as late as 2038, a final subtle wink to the long empty party, an open door, just in case.
Maybe that tells us everything. Or maybe we're just not ready.
Unfortunately, as personal as time feels, we live in a world where it has to be shared. Air traffic, internet, financial transactions, satellites, navigation, all of it depends on precise, synchronized time.
But as we learned, the world doesn't tick on its own. We force it to. For thousands of years, humans didn't count time, they felt it. When the sun rose, you moved. When darkness fell, you rested. Time wasn't something you owned or controlled, it was something you lived within. It was cyclical, natural, and alive.
Ancient civilizations like Babylonians and Egyptians built sundials and water clocks, turning time into something observable and eventually controllable. Then came medieval Europe. The invention of mechanical clocks changed everything. Time was no longer tied to the sky, it could now be measured, sold, scheduled, and standardized. It had become external, cold, non-negotiable.
As the world grew smaller and connections multiplied, a new problem surfaced: a chaos of time itself. Before time zones, every town set its own clock based on the sun's highest point in the sky. That meant neighboring towns often lived by different times. Imagine trying to schedule a train in the 1880s when 10 o'clock meant something different just miles apart. Confusion was everywhere.
A solution was urgent, so in 1884, at the International Meridian Conference in Washington, D.C., the globe was divided into 24 slices, each about 15 degrees wide. So each slice kept the same time 1 hour apart from its neighbors. The starting line was the prime meridian, running through London's Royal Observatory. From then on, Greenwich Mean Time became the world's shared heartbeat.
But reality soon proved more complicated. For example, China, a country spanning 5 time zones, chose unity over geography. It runs on single clock, Beijing time. In its western provinces, the sun can rise as late as 10 a.m., and people live by unofficial solar time.
Then there's Kiribati, a tiny Pacific nation divided by the international dateline. Half the country lived a full day apart. In the late 1990s, President Teodoro Tito promised to fix this by shifting the dateline east. On January 1, 2000, Kiribati became the place where the day begins. Another example of humanity's attempt to juggle with time is daylight saving time. The idea dates back to 1784, when Benjamin Franklin jokingly suggested people could save candles by waking up earlier to use natural sunlight. A century later, in 1895, New Zealand entomologist George Vernon Hudson proposed actually shifting clocks, partly so he could have more daylight after work to collect insects.
The first real implementation came in 1916, when Germany and Austria-Hungary moved clocks forward during World War I to conserve fuel. In World War II, the US adopted year-round wartime. After the war, many countries started to shift their clocks. The goal was to save energy and add daylight.
But the studies disagree on the benefits. The lost hour disrupts our biological rhythm, the natural timing system that governs our sleep, alertness, digestion, and even our heartbeat. It's called the circadian rhythm, and it's built into nearly every cell in your body. It listens not to the clock, but to light. When that signal is off, even by just 1 hour, your internal system falls out of sync. Sleep becomes fragmented, hormones misfire, and for days, your risk of heart attacks, car accidents, and critical mistakes at work increases. A small change with a big impact.
But to keep time consistent across the globe, despite all these quirks and challenges, we needed a precise, reliable way to count and synchronize time everywhere. So in 1927, scientists at Bell Labs built the first quartz clock by capturing the vibrations of a single crystal.
Quartz has a special property called piezoelectricity. When you apply electricity to it, it vibrates at a constant frequency, like a microscopic tuning fork. In most quartz watches, the vibration is incredibly stable, occurring at a frequency of 32,768 times per second. Circuits then divide those vibrations down into 1 pulse per second, a tick.
Quartz timepieces are quite accurate, losing only about 15 seconds per month or roughly half a second per day. And still, this wasn't enough. Humanity continued to make time more precise, and eventually, now deep underground in laboratories around the world, scientists are destroying particles just to keep you on time for your morning coffee. Enter the atomic clock.
Instead of crystals, it uses the natural vibration of atoms, usually cesium-133. So time is measured by cesium atom ticking at a quantum level. That ticking is the quantum decay, 9,192,631,770 cycles of microwave radiation equals 1 second. With this precision, the world got coordinated universal time. But Earth doesn't care about our time. It slows down, speeds up, and wobbles. So every few years, humanity steps in and says, let's add a leap second. We patch our entire timekeeping system like software, and then we synchronize it constantly. While you're watching this, your device is quietly asking the internet what time it is over and over again.
Another example is in the sky. GPS satellites orbit in the weaker gravitational field, where time moves faster. So their clocks are deliberately programmed to tick more slowly. That's how, more than 100 years ago, Einstein made GPS system possible. If we didn't account for Einstein's relativity, your GPS would be off by 10 kilometers every single day.
Every bank transfer, hiking trail, rocket launch, every live stream you watch, all of it balanced on the edge of the atomic vibration. So here we are. We started by reading shadows and ended up monitoring quantum decay. We went from feeling time to engineering it at the subatomic level. In our quest to measure time perfectly, we might have lost something fundamental, our sense of what time actually is. All we've done is agree on how to lie about it together, and eventually we have changed how we experience it.
In Aymara language spoken in South America, the past is seen in front of you, because it's visible and known. The future behind your back, unseen, uncertain. In Mandarin Chinese, time flows vertically. The past is described as up, the future as down. The Amandava people of Amazon don't have a word for time at all. No age counted in years, no abstract units. Life is measured in events and traditions. The way we talk about time, whether it moves left to right or up and down, or doesn't exist as a line at all, shapes how we think about it.
Do we speak the way we think, or do we think the way we speak? Turns out, it's both. And maybe that's why understanding what time really is feels so hard. Because the moment we started counting it, we changed how we experience it.
Time is not just on the clock, it's in the mind. And the more precisely we try to capture it, the more slippery it becomes. We used to follow time, now it chases us. Thank you for your time, whatever it means. See you in the next video.